Right. So I welcome you to today's conversation in business communication, and let's just examine the art of listening, because basically this is where we have to set our effort just to look at the art of listening. So look at the objectives of listening. We introduce you to listening. We'll look at the differences between listening and hearing. We examine the value of listening, the pitfalls that are involved in listening, and we end from the functions of listening. In the next conversation, we'll proceed from the process of listening and how to listen efficiently. We'll look at the barriers to efficient listening, the types of listening, and then we'll end the unit together. So let us now just zero in. Oftentimes we have heard people talking to us that have indicated that listening plays a significant role in the interaction process of the business transactions. And we suggest now to you that you take listening as part of communication that is very, very serious and significant to business communication or for business transactions. Now, we hear, okay, we hear, but we do not listen all the time, okay? Because hearing is merely a psychological, a physiological, process in which the sound waves emanating from the animate or inanimate object strike the eardrums. So you sometimes have to hear what you do not want to hear. And certainly, if that happens, you do not even try to interpret the meaning of everything that you hear. So listening, on the other hand, is a four-stage self-generated activity. The first stage being the reception of the sound waves through the ears. Then the second stage is the interpretation of the sound received. And the third is an evaluation of the interpreted meaning, the context of the needs and the expectation of the listener. The fourth stage is a reaction to the message. How do you react to the message? Okay. So listening thus is purposeful hearing. So in our day-to-day life, we hear so many things, but we do not listen all that we hear. What could be now the purpose of listening, right? There are various purposes of listening. We listen for socialization. We listen for relaxation. We listen for inspiration. We listen for elevation and sometimes even for whiling away our leisure time. But in the context of performance of our duties, there are two specific purposes of listening. One, we listen to gain new information and ideas transmitted through both the formal and the informal channels. That's number one. We listen to gain new information and we listen to gain new ideas. Okay, we gain some new information and we listen to gain some new ideas that are transmitted through both the formal and the informal channels. Apart from this, okay, apart from what is being communicated officially, we can gather a lot of useful information by listening to friends and colleagues. So effective listening in informal transaction is no less important than formal situation. Number two, listening enables us to participate effectively in discussions and other interactions. Unless we listen to the points made or views expressed by the other participants in a speech or situation, we would not be able to react right and to put forward cogently arguments in support of our views. What could be some of the value of listening? Is there any value that is there in listening? Okay. Look, you know, what is actually desirable is that we should be able to compare, okay? We should be able to make comparisons, right? So what desirable good does this comparatively rare ability to listen give you? How does it promote your well-being? As the key to your motivation to improve may lie in giving you reasons for doing. Let me underline some of the key advantages. Number one, listening is a principal way of learning, right? As an inventor, for example, an entrepreneur, there are bucketfuls of ideas lying around. And actually, what is lacking in us is the listening ear. So it must be quick to be added that the entrepreneurial skills needed to bring these ideas to the market are needed. So listening, when you listen for ideas and the new information, that can really transform thy own life. So it is very peculiar, very important that you listen. Listening is a way of helping people, okay? If you listen to others for ideas and for information, that is very important because almost everyone has some sort of information that can actually be useful and relevant to you, perhaps at some later time, if not now. So as for ideas, especially new ideas, seminal thoughts or several hundreds of oysters may yield only one small lustrous white herb, but you do not open the shells. You will ever find what else. So listening is indeed very important and so significant. We listen, okay? We listen because by listening, you create a listen. Because if you do not listen, then how do you become a listener? There is actually a very strong tendency to reciprocate. Okay? When we listen, people are able to get what they expect us to get. We are able to communicate, and usually communication becomes very effective when someone is there to give ear. So giving ear is indeed very important. So let's understand that listening is very important. Are there any pitfalls that are involved in listening? Do we have some pitfalls that are involved in listening? Okay. Negotiators tend to run into three pitfalls that hinder effective listening. And the first one is, many think that negotiating is primarily a job of persuasion. And to them, persuasion means talking. These people see talking as an active role and listening as a passive role. Because of the same, they tend to forget that it is difficult to persuade other people when you don't know what motivates these people. Secondly, people tend to over-prepare for what they are going to say and to use their listening time waiting for their next turn to speak. While anticipating their next change, they may miss vital information. Okay, they could use later in the negotiation. The third point is that we all have emotional filters and blinders that prevent us from hearing what we do not want to hear. So this actually happened and used to happen during our early days. Right. Okay. In the early cells, in the early days, as we were starting the career, I seem to always waste time with clients who I thought would buy printing, from me, but never did. Now I very seldom have that problem. What experience has shown me is that the people who used it to waste my time had no intention of using my services. If I had been a better listener, I would have been able to pick up their true feelings. Are there any functions of listening? Let's conclude with the functions of listening. Listening does improve your intellectual ability to understand and evaluate the views and opinions expressed by others. Listening enables you to gather proper and accurate information, facilitating appropriate decision making. If you listen, listening will assist you to establish rapport with co-workers quickly. And listening will help you, it will help you as a speaker to give the best, both in group presentations or maybe a monotonous presentation. Do you have any questions? Right. Assuming that the silence means all is well, we can end the presentation here. We will continue with this conversation next time. In the next conversation, we'll start from the process of listening. I end here. Have a blessed day.